Welcome back to Enlightened Trading. I'm your host, Conrad, and today we have another look at the stock market. So jumping into price today, make sure you follow me on my Instagram link down below. And yeah, so moving on to price now. Okay, so this is the S&P 500 index, as you can see here on the right hand side. This 4 hour, I want to go to the daily on the daily time frame, and now you can see since we moved today quite nicely, we are now, or we at least traded once above the prior daily highs. So this is actually quite interesting in my opinion, because there are now two possible scenarios. Well, for one, you can see this trend line has to be adjusted now, and I don't think it will quite fit, so I will delete it now. But as you can see, we had consecutive lower highs here on the S&P, and we now moved higher. So this for one is bullish, because of course higher highs do signal trend changes if we now get a confirmed higher daily low, and maybe even a retest of this trend line. Then I would do look for further higher prices. But until then, there still is the second likely scenario, which could of course be a bull flag. So that is still not unlikely in my opinion. This is pretty sideways. There is a lot of room for the downside still. Of course, if we close this daily candle as we do today, this is usually a reversal candle. Since this is a doji, as you can see, we went higher here on a daily time frame, and we then dropped again. But actually we are currently consolidating on 1 hour, so it very much depends on how this daily candle closes. If it closes in a similar shape, which it is now, then as I said, there is the possibility for a bull flag here on the daily time frame. And as you can see, it would work out actually pretty nicely here. And yeah, this would then of course be the case for an AB equals CD. So this would then bring us down to about 2,860 on the SPY index. So that is one of the two likely scenarios, but as I said, we still have to wait and see first how this candle closes, and secondly where the week ends and the next week starts. So if we still consolidate here in this vicinity, then there is a likelihood that we actually move higher and go again to 3,200. And if you listen to me, then you would know that I did say there is a buying possibility here at the lows, since I do think a daily higher low is at least likely. So that is it for the S&P 500. Of course, the Nasdaq and so on are looking very similar. Dow Jones, of course, are also very similar, but I do prefer to look at the S&P 500, at least from a personal standpoint. So moving on to the major stocks, this is Amazon. As you can see, the weekly time frame, and we now moved higher today. So there are still some strong buying bulls here at the highs. Of course, I do think that we are due for a correction, and also due for breaking this pretty steep trend line here, which we are now currently establishing on the daily, and of course on other smaller time frames. There is a possibility that we are experiencing a rising wedge here on the daily, which of course usually sends price downwards once breaking. This could be approximately at the prior high, so this would be very reasonable here for a higher low, a higher daily and weekly low around $2,170. There is, as you can see, the prior or one of the prior highs which broke this consolidation phase. So there is the likelihood, as I said, to retrace down here to $2,170, and then to find a higher low and bounce higher once again. So that is it for Amazon, and as I said, there are still some strong buying bulls, but I do think we are due for a correction, although the TD sequential does not signal any weakness currently. Although, that's interesting, we are currently experiencing an 8 on Amazon, but I do think Yeah, that's only in Amazon actually, so not there's nothing too much to worry about. Okay, moving to Tesla, as you can see, moving higher today, hugely actually. This is an extreme evaluation of Tesla stock. I do think it's largely overpriced. $1,200 and 11. I mean, this is just pretty insane in my opinion, and that Tesla still sees these numbers growing, although it is already a very established company, is actually pretty insane in my opinion. But you know, I do think that if we continue this growth and there is not a lot which currently signals any downside, then I mean we could move to 2000 pretty fast, in my opinion at least. You know, the weekly is still looking strong from a TD sequential point of view. We are at a green 4, as you can see right here, so there's nothing to worry about. And also in the daily time frame, there is still a positive uptrend in the TD sequential, also in the green 4, so there is nothing to worry about from that point of view. But as I said, it's pretty overpriced currently, and I would do wait for another retest of $958 for any bullish entries, but until then I most likely will stay away from it. Okay, I mean, yeah, and pretty interesting, we had after this on 9 inside bar on the monthly time frame. You can see we had a green 9 moving above a green 1 moving above the green 9, and then of course the bullish entry with the screen 2 above a green 1. So this is still pretty bullish from the monthly time frame, looking at the TD sequential. So Apple also you know, pretty bullish, and of course also moving higher today. So there is a nice momentum here currently. This consolidation here on a daily time frame does look pretty nice. We are already close to the all-time high, so I do think a breakout is still likely. We are currently experiencing this trend line. I mean, you could draw it. It does fit. I mean, yeah, it fits somewhat. Maybe we could even draw a channel most likely. So that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, we can draw a channel here. So this is a very tight channel here on the daily time frame, but it seems to work out very nicely. And of course you can see we once again bounced off of it. So, and as I said, we are close to the all-time high, so there is still of course bullish opportunities, but I do think, as I said, it's overpriced, and I would look out for a rebuy at around $228. I do think buying opportunity is very nicely here in this area of $328. Okay, Google, pretty nice consolidation phase, actually an inverse ascending triangle, actually very interesting. These are pretty rare. You can see this horizontal line of resistance here on top, and these declining lower lows. So very interesting to see. I don't think there is a certain way this usually breaks, but I do think since there is the line of least resistance here around $1,476, I do think that this is more likely to break than, because of course if we break the lower lows, I do think we will once again move back to $1,476. Yeah, so this is actually pretty nice. If it breaks lower once again, I would look out for a buying opportunity around $1,337. Maybe even a bit low, maybe even a bit higher. But yeah, I mean, I do think that's a possibility for trading Google currently. Facebook, weekly time frame. Yeah, I mean, very strong buy candle here after lows. Huge gains to be made if you bought the dip. Of course, maybe we could draw a fib retracement. Yes, we could. I mean, maybe we can do it like that, but you know, around the high, around the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level, maybe we should draw it like that. I don't quite know. Maybe we could even extend it here from the bottom. Yeah, it doesn't work out too nicely, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have known when to buy in. Looking here at Facebook from a quick perspective, there is a possibility to use an AB equals CD, but I mean, yeah, it would have worked sort of way, but not too nicely in my opinion. So maybe you could even extend it like that, and then you would have a retest of this trend line and then a drop lower. But you know, I'm not too surprised that it bounced back the way it did. Market is still looking bullish from a technical perspective, but as I said, I mean, the fundamentals are pretty bad in the current situation. But as you can see, once again, bouncing very nice off this 4-hour 9 buy, turning into a 1. So this is also pretty interesting from that regard. Okay, so just taking a quick look again at Uber. Okay. Yeah, the technicals are still very aligned in with what I said. As I said, it would be a buyer from $28 up to $29, and of course also at $31. So it would now be pretty much in the green in general, but mostly break even. And as you can see, we had this trend line, this declining trend line, which we are currently at. And yeah, maybe you could draw a falling wedge here on a daily time frame. So this would also most likely signal that we will move higher. But as I said, this looks very much like a consolidation after a very nice intermediate term uptrend. And yeah, would be a buyer here at these levels, up from $28. So okay, maybe just taking a quick look at Spotify. Daily time frame is still pretty insane evaluation of Spotify stock. As you can see, around $270 here on Spotify. We had a 9 sell here on the daily time frame. It has not yet experienced any significant downside. Very contained consolidation for now. Weekly time frame still looking very strong here on Spotify. As I said, I would still look for a buying opportunity around $200, maybe just a bit above. So then it would be my trading strategy, as long as we don't get a very nice retrace, where I would of course consider scaling in if I would trade the stock market, which would be around $217. Maybe we could draw a fib extension, maybe even from the low. Yeah, around I would start scaling around $208 down to 200. Oh, I'm actually going to continue using this. Okay, yeah, I think that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for sticking through, maybe even picking up some few important ideas along the way. And yeah, if we are already here at this late stage, make sure you follow me here on Instagram and like a few posts and have some fun along the way. So thank you very much, and yeah, see you guys and girls and people back next time. Bye.